Hey guys, I have a fun little card for us today using the Festive and Fun stamp set from several years ago. And I'm going to be using the giraffe for this one. I just thought this was a really good Animal Kingdom type card. I just was thinking that's what it would be a good one for. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the paper I'm using today is called Shining Christmas, and it has this foil texture to it. And again, it's from a few years ago, the same time that this came out. And so I was like, I'm going to use up this paper, and all my cards I'm going to be selling. I'm going to be selling a lot of my cards on Whatnot. And so I was like, oh, I should make some more Christmas and just see if I can sell these on Whatnot. And so, yeah. So we'll go ahead and pop that down. So I used a little different background for this one, but the same size of layer. So this is 3 inches by 5. And then the second layer is 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. And then this card base is a little different. I used a different card base. Oh, I messed that up a little bit. I used a little different card base. Shape, but it's still the same principle. It's just not tinted. I tend to like the cards that stand up like a little tent. That's just my preference, but there's not like a rule. You can use any kind of layout for your card base, unless there's some technical design that doesn't allow it. Like some of those fun folds, you can't use certain layouts, but most of mine you can. So okay, so I'm using this May Your Season be one that's festive and fun. And this little tiny label is from the Stitch Rectangle dies. You can use any that you like. This is 1 1/4 by 3 1/4. But I would have just chopped an elongated little rectangle like this. It just has the cute stitched edging because it's the stitched rectangle. But Stampin' Up! Has a variety of different dies that are similar to this even right now. So you have to be a little bit careful with this particular stamp because it's a little off center when they chopped it, when it was chopped in the machine. So you see how there's a little extra layer of, there's an extra layer of rubber around the edge. This side is a little bit wider. So when I go to stamp, I'm thinking my May is in the center, but it's not. I need to move it over a little because there's an extra wideness on this side. I'll line it up. And now technically it's perfectly center, but because of that excess on that side, I need to move it a little bit to the left, and then I should get it perfectly centered. It looks off center when I'm pressing down, but it won't be off center when oh, it's still a little off. I didn't move it over enough, but that's okay. I'm still going to show how you can use this even with it being slightly off center. Now, some people would go and throw this away because it's a little off center. I'm not going to. That's what handmade things are. They're going to have imperfections and slight details because that's what they are. You know, that's the intent of them. If you wanted it to be commercial made, then you'd buy one from Hallmark, you know, and then it's pretty much always good, but the quality of the card is usually going to be less. You won't have all the 3D aspects that I tend to put. So, sorry, this is a big stamp, so I got to make sure there's lots of ink on it. All right. And I'm going to put him right. I almost cut him off. Oh, I've got to move him over here. I was trying to save paper, but, oh, and I think I double stamped him. So we'll stamp him. Let me cut out my little gopher or beaver. And we'll stamp him again on the back side. I lifted the stamp mid-stamp. Like, I'm not feeling 100%, so... But I definitely wanted to give you guys some crafts. I've just been doing those silly unboxings, but I love making crafts. You know, I really do. It's really my passion. And oh, perfect. That one came out really good. Better than even the one I think I showed you guys earlier that was already finished. So we've got that. Oh, and the last thing I wanted to add is on the inside of the card, I decided to add on the inside of the card, let's add this tiny bird. It's from the same stamp set, but I thought, how fun would that be? Let's add this tiny bird on the inside. Just for fun. So we have all of our stamped images, and we're just gonna take and we're gonna color. I'm just gonna use this underneath. This is a scrap piece of paper. You never wanna color with your blends on the straight desk because they will bleed through. So let's go ahead and let's just color our little bird. Let's give him a little red hat. Okay, and let's see, and I think, no, we'll see, let's color it like a little light blue. Where's our original? There it is. Oh, okay. We'll color him like a light blue. This is Pool Party. His little beak. And let's give him a little red sweater too. Okay. And we'll leave, I want to leave his cap. Okay, so we're done with that. And now we've got our little our little beaver. So let's go ahead and let's do his candy cane since I have the red handy. Okay. And then for him, let me look at the browns. I had, sorry, let me put my card up here. That's right, I used the darkest brown on his feet, which will be the lowest number. I think the 200 is my lowest. 400. It's funny, the lowest number is the darkest, and the lightest number is the highest, or the highest number is the lightest color, which I just find kind of funny in my mind. For me, it just seems funny. All right, so I colored his feet like dark. No shading on his feet, just a dark color. And then for his tail, I took this darker one and I did all the hash marks of the beaver's tail in the darker brown, and then took the next lightest, the 500. No, I think, yeah, because the lightest will be his body. Yeah. So the darkest was his feet, and then I kept getting lighter and lighter as I kept going, was basically what I did. And then I just colored his tail. So this one is 500. So that was the 400. I did the striping, and then the 500 is the main part of his tail. I don't like that. I don't think it's dark enough. I think I've forgotten what I did before. So I'm going to take the darker and do the hash marks again with the same one that I used on his feet, because I really want those hash marks to stand out. And so when I had done it before, you couldn't really see it, and I really wanted the hash marks to be obvious. And then for his body was the lightest color. And so we'll go ahead and color him. Oh, but you know what I'll do is I'll put a little bit of like some shadowing down on his chin here, and maybe under his arm, and maybe a little here. And so just a little bit of shadowing, not a ton, because he's such a small little character. You don't want to like go too hard with colors. Now this is 600 that I'm using. Yeah. I love the paintbrush of this. So there's the tiniest bit of shading under his chin. And down on his belly. It's just a little bit. It's very subtle. Most people probably wouldn't even notice it. So we've got our little beaver done. And then I think what happened is I only used like a certain brown for the giraffe, and I think I got that a little confused. So I think that's probably what happened. So, all right, so let's do his hat. He's got a Santa hat on. And this is light real red. Not sure why I didn't use dark. Oh, I have it here. I had meant to, I think. Yeah, because that's like a light real red's almost like a pink. It has like a little more pink in it because it's just a lighter. So I wanted dark real red. I didn't want cherry cobbler, which is the same color on the card. All right, and then we took our Mossy Meadow, a light and dark. So I'm going to go ahead and shade the tree with a little bit of this dark Mossy Meadow and just, you know, just color some branches. I don't want to do it on like everyone. Maybe this down here, and this down here, and this up here. You just kind of want to add a little texture. So when you're doing the highlighting, you're just adding a tiny bit of texture to it. When you add the dark shade. And then we'll take the light Mossy Meadow. Yep. I just wanted to make sure I hadn't used something different. Okay, so we're done with our tree. All right, and I'm going to use the dark brown for the trunk, just the same one that I used on the beaver. And for the little tin that it's in, the little bowl, just adding a little bit of shading here. And I'm using dark pool party and light pool party. Okay, and then we'll use our red for the bow. There we go. That. And the Mossy Meadow we used on the leaves here. And the holly berries, we need the red. And I didn't color the rest of the basket. And so now I just grabbed a bunch of different colors to color my little ornaments. So this one's just like a light old olive. And then I think I did, yeah, a light old olive here. You know, you just kind of want to decide on a color scheme and just kind of go for it. And then I've got this dark yellow, which I did here. This is dark daffodil. And then let's do dark daffodil here. And the one in his hand, I did with dark and red. Oh, I think I got the caps on funny. And this is light real red. And let's do down there. This one will have a red stripe. And then we'll do maybe some blue. Some of these ornaments are going to get covered up by the little beaver. But okay. And oh, and I wanted the dark daffodil delight for the star especially. All right, so we're done with that. And we need the yellow, and we're gonna, for the daffodil delight, just along his neck, we're gonna do some shading. And just along the length of his body. I just think that's a good way to shade. And then got the light lemon lolly. So that was dark daffodil delight, and this is light lemon lolly. I think the coloring takes the longest on this card. I love coloring, but it is quite tedious if you're doing like a bunch of cards like this. Let me see, did I use this one? No, not that one. I'm trying to think of what color I used. Oh, not on the table, Jen. It was this one. So this is number 400. I wanted to do a hidden Mickey in his, I wanted to do a little hidden Mickey in his spots, but I couldn't do one without making all his spots like the dark, dark brown to hide the black lines, you know? And then for the feet, and or his little hooves or whatever they're called, I'm assuming they're hooves. I did it in the dark, same with as what I used on the beaver. So when you cut, you move the paper, not the scissors. So just pay attention to see how I turn the paper, but my scissors stay in the same direction. This helps you get that smooth cut when you're trimming out. And I'm not cutting right on the edge. Honestly, I never feel that you can cut well right on the black line. That's my personal experience. You can do it. It just looks choppy. Unless you really need it for a design detail, I tend to just leave the white border almost like a little sticker. Unless it looks really bad and I have to trim it down. Like if I'm layering certain elements together, but then I try to use some kind of seam or some kind of thing to cover the seam. But yeah, so this helps the most in getting your line. Now this one's a little thick on this side. I'll make it a little thinner. All right, so we're done with that one. And again, you just move the paper. And I'm not going to cut out the center there in between the tree. That's another thing that people do that I think, unless you're really good with an X-Acto knife or something, just leave the center. You know what I mean? Unless it's really messing up the design, I just tend to leave it. Like even around these little boughs of the tree. You just got to keep turning the paper, and I'm still going to probably have to come back and clean it up a little. Oh, I bent the bow. See, and that's the other thing that sometimes happens. You'll bend your bow. You'll bend your piece of paper as you're doing this, but it's okay. It's good enough. All right, so now we will go ahead and go all the way around his little hat. I really hope I feel better soon. I have a Whatnot show on Saturday, and I'm going to sell this card. This card will be for sale on Saturday. So I'm really hoping I start to feel a little bit better. I would have been in bed, but I have to keep like posting things, you know, to try and help. And I want my Whatnot show to be successful. So, all right, so we're done with our giraffe, done with our beaver, done with our bird. I think I'm going to color his hat. It looks unfinished. I'm going to use dark real red for this part of the hat. And then it's like a little contrast. The other was light. All right, so we'll go ahead and put our little bird in here. And I happen to have some edging, so I use the dimensionals, even the edging. I'm cutting them kind of large. Sometimes I'll cut them small, but in this case I'm cutting them large because I need the long ones for the giraffe and for this particular little label. Oops, that one maybe is a little, no, there we go. And let me grab one of these down at the bottom. So we got that on the back. And this, oh yeah, that's right. I had stamped twice. And we'll use all these long ones for this giraffe. and his body. He's so cute. I love this giraffe. I just think he's such a neat little character. Whoever did the artwork for him is good. I like the artwork they used on this particular stamp. The cartoon look is good. It's a good look. Sometimes the cartoons I'm not a fan of. It depends on the cartoon style, you know. You know, because you get different artists doing different things for the stamps. So all right. And then for our beaver, we'll put him on last, and we'll put him on in just a minute. But let's go ahead and put our tree, our giraffe with our tree up. There we go. We'll pop him on. And then I want to put my beaver right here where he's overlapping a little bit. So we only want to put dimensionals like right here on his tail and right here on the bottom of his body. So we'll cut a little piece to go on his tail. Let's just cut this little piece here. Because I just want to make sure his tail doesn't get folded down when you put it in the envelope. There we go. Perfect. And we'll go ahead and put a little bit of glue on him. So it's like he's helping the giraffe. There we go. And then we'll pop on our dimensionals. And then my favorite part is adding a few embellishments, because I always think that that really makes a, I feel that that really makes a card go to the next level, is when you add embellishments. And secret fact, it will also hide the error of the label here. These are the peppermint adhesive backed peppermints and the cherry cobbler and pearl adhesive berries. And so for these, let me grab my tweezers. I use tweezers. There's a take your pick tool that we have. This will pick up the dimension. This will pick up this little piece here. Some people prefer using this. Let me get the lid off. There you go. Some people prefer using this. This is called a take your pick tool. And I'll go ahead and demonstrate it because I actually do like using it. So what happens is you pick up your gem with it. It's got like a little stickiness to it, and it will pick them up. And I mean, I think it's a pretty cool tool. I'm picking up 3 of the clear baubles, and I'm putting them just on the tree, just a couple clear ones because they're about the same size as the others. And then now picking up these 3, I don't know if it'll pick up the 3 together. Nah. And then I went ahead and I popped, to hide my mistake, I put some here. I'm also going to make up my little hidden Mickey. Let me put that down here. I used the largest one. Do I want to center? I think I'll center him. I'm using the largest peppermint. And 2 of the smallest peppermints. And they're perfectly proportioned to make little hidden Mickeys. Yeah, well, not so hidden. You know what I mean? Like, they're really obvious. And then I went ahead and I took one of the medium ones. And again, to try and hide the off center aspect of the label, I put a peppermint and a single one at the top. And then I'm going to put another one of these, I think. Let me see if I can, let me see if it fits. I think I might put another one of the 3 here. Or maybe I'll do a single one. Let me see. Yeah, I like the single one better. And then maybe we'll put a tiny peppermint over here. Just to kind of try and hide the off-center aspect of this. So maybe I'll move this back up a little. Maybe if I move that here and move these down here. Oops. Okay. I try not to have any even numbers. I just personally don't like even numbers and embellishments. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that's good. So that gives 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, it gives it an even, but to me this looks separate. And then let me, you know what, let me add one more right here. And then, do I want that size or I think I want a different size. And so then it's just kind of like a balance to it. Okay, so I found these star embellishments. These are resin star embellishments. They're from a few years ago, but we also had some other stars last year. I just like the color of these ones. Okay, this is, there we go. And let's try our little take your pick tool, see if it picks up the star. Yeah, it does, picks it up pretty well. I just like my tweezers, I guess. I'm just so used to using them. But this does work pretty good too. It's funny how I think we're just creatures of habit, you know, so we stick with the thing we know. So that is our card. That is our card for today. Cute, right? I just think it turned out really nice. And so again, this will be for sale in my Whatnot shop.